Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's session. Those who've been here before, my name's Gabriel, and we will be meditating once again today. So for the newcomers, where we meditate and we do Sahastra Yoga meditation. Sahastra Yoga meditation, as a recap to those who are here for the first time, is based upon a subtle system where we enable the power of the Kundalini, that is a maternal and internal energy, at the base of our spine, and through a process of achieving our thoughtless awareness, this energy rises through the base of the spine towards the top of the head, and while it rises, it caters towards each energy center or chakra based along the spine and caters it towards the equilibrium and the harmony to the rest of the subtle system. Now, the subtle system is also composed of 3 channels which cater towards the past, the present, and the future. And through this meditation, we create a heuristic toolset with which we're able to know our own inner state. And by knowing our own inner state, we can use techniques, tools, and methods that will help us use appropriate antidotes to bringing certain areas of our body back into balance. So today we'll be going through an initial meditation as we usually do, which will be the first part of the evening, but as usual we will be going deeper as well with a small extra topic at hand today. So this meditation, most importantly, was brought to us 50 years ago by Srimati Nirmala Devi, and she enabled this inner transformation using the power of the Kundalini for en masse. Because usually, as we will hear today, the knowledge of the Kundalini was perhaps quite esoteric, quite nebulous, quite ephemeral, as well as secluded to a small sect of people. But now in our modern day and age, this meditation and this method has been made widely available through her methods and through a way that is accessible to everybody, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of profession, background, or prior experience. So today's topic, we will focus on actually a core component of the subtle system, that being the Kundalini. So those who've been with us before, we've discussed how to balance the subtle system with the 3 channels, how to cater towards each individual chakra along the channel, and how this Kundalini rises through the channels and stays at the top of the head. And as it passes through all these levels, and as it lays here at the 7th chakra, that then creates the yoga, that creates the union. But before the union of yoga happens, that brings us our self-realization and brings us a state of thoughtless awareness beyond the usual limited being of ourselves, we have to first enable this energy. We have to first start it up, so to say, to engage the engine of our system. And the Kundalini is this dormant energy. And today we'll be focusing a bit more about it and how in this method of Sahastra Yoga, it is extremely crucial that we know how we use the Kundalini and how the Kundalini works within us. Now, the term itself is derived from Sanskrit, meaning literally the one who is coiled. The one who is coiled because this wrapping around itself represents a dormant state. And through the meditation, this energy rises through the channels and the chakras and elongates itself, sending threads along the spine towards the top of the head. Now, the Kundalini is that which galvanizes, that which empowers, that which directs and guides our spiritual growth. So if we have that inclination to genuinely know how we can grow in meditation, in silence, and in a way that is not forced, but effortless, then she is there, and she, because she is the maternal energy, guides us through these certain hurdles and obstacles that we inevitably have placed within ourselves due to prior experiences that might be lingering within our subtle system. Now, the Kundalini energy is also expressed in the element of the flame or the fire, because in our day and age, when there's a lot of nonsense going around, the energy of the Kundalini works to purify any impurity within our subtle system. And she does that with that luminosity, with that vibrancy, and with that heat that can be used to clear away certain blockages here and there. But this is a process that is not painful, but is a process that is easy and is effortless. And it's one that you really have to put no willpower or effort into. Because as long as you want to grow, then she is there to show you the way. Now, the concept of the Kundalini and the knowledge of this entity within our body that is the guiding principle of our realization has been present in a wide variety of cultures throughout history and through millennia itself. We can go back to the Islamic text of the Quran, where we talk of the ruh, of the breath, of the spirit that helps us and empowers us in our growth. Similarly, if we go to the Christian traditions and their Genesis and their Gospels, for example, yesterday we had the Pentecost, and during the Pentecost, the disciples realized their connection or their union, which is described, as you might know, as tongues of flames rising above the head. Now, these tongues of flames are, of course, similar and is an expression of that Kundalini energy rising above and through the system, resting at the top of our last center. And it's also found in very many other places. In Buddhism, she's also known as Tummo or Kundalini, and there it's seen as a more vibrant or hotter heat. But this is because if a person raising the Kundalini is not per se authenticated to do so, there are repercussions in some instances. But when it's done with a genuine, authentic, and innocent purpose, then the repercussions do not manifest. So it's important to have a clear, pure, straightforward desire when working on one's own subtle system. So that's just a bit on the Kundalini. And as you all know by now, there's a lot more on wemeditate.com that expresses much more than we can talk about in just the handful of minutes we have here today. And more importantly, we're not here to listen, but we're here to meditate. We're here to learn a little bit and then also try and have that experiential awareness of this energy. So take whatever I say with a pinch of salt, and through the experience of the meditation that comes hereafter, you can see and reflect and compare whether what I've said manifests within your own being. Now, for some people, it takes a few more occasions in order to feel that flow of energy that grows through the body and rises through and permeates every single fiber and atom of our being. For some, it takes some time, and for some, it's more straightforward. But most importantly, as long as you're patient with yourself, consistent with your meditation, and have a straightforward, direct purpose in achieving that sense of self-realization, then in due time, you'll also be able to rise beyond your thoughts into a realm beyond our limited self. So that's a bit of a pitch here to begin with. So for today, we'll go into the initial self-realization meditation as usual, and afterwards we'll focus a bit more on creating that rapport, that dialogue, and enhancing our relationship with that maternal and internal energy of the Kundalini. So without further ado, if you're sitting comfortably, either in your bed or in a chair or on the floor, you can just check that you're sitting as you are, neither too straight or neither too slumping or straight, crouching forward. Essentially, what we want to do is to find that sweet spot in not being either too forced, neither too lethargic, neither too lenient or too pushing. It's all found in that equilibrium, that harmony, and that equanimity between you, yourself, and the Kundalini. So for the duration of this meditation, we will be keeping our left hand open on our lap like so, and our right hand will be moving across the left side of our body. This is to cater towards initially the left channel of our body before we move on to the right and to the center, but meditations for those specific channels can be found on our website. But to begin with, we'll have our right hand on our left heart, moving down towards the abdomen, then to the waist, back up in the same sequence, and then along to the left side of our throat, to the forehead, and finally to the top of the head. Why we move our hand is because the right hand represents, of course, the right channel, that being our action and our futuristic planning. And moreover, it helps us direct our attention from outside to inside. The simple movement helps us to root that attention in place for a moment to the vicinity of a subtle center or a chakra in that part of the body. So heart, and then down, and then back up again to the top of the head. And for the duration of this initial meditation, it's a good idea to keep your eyes closed and just listen and direct your hand to the right part of the body. In addition, we'll be saying affirmations which will work as articulated desire. Articulate desires to clear a specific part of the body, because each chakra, each subtle center caters towards a distinct quality or a distinct element within your body. So with these affirmations, we can address the most general and common blockages present on these centers, and therefore help our Kundalini move up in a rising trajectory towards the top of the subtle system. Because when these chakras are blocked, you can consider them constricted. And when you meditate, you are opening these centers up. The more you're able to open them up, the more you're able to bring your left and your right channels into the center. There is a magnified increase then in the energy flow through the body. But this is all theory, and most importantly, let's see how it feels actually within. Because the experiential aspect is that which really counts in Sahastra Yoga, and that which really shows you that there is something to work on within and without. So let's get to it. Comfortable position, keeping the left hand open on the lap. And with the right hand, keeping our eyes closed, we can start by placing our left hand on the heart. You can take a deep breath, inhaling through the nose, and then exhaling slowly through the mouth, and repeating this cycle just a handful of times, having a small pause in between each inhale and exhale. Located here on our left heart is the seat of a spirit that is both invisible, indivisible, and indomitable. It is an essence that goes beyond that which is transient, which is illusory, and represents the essence of truth, awareness and bliss within us. The final goal of yoga is to reflect this aspect more and more on a daily basis, to be a truthful mirror of the spirit in our day-to-day activities. So, keeping a right hand on the heart, there's just one affirmation we have to say. There's one goal, one purpose, a one-pointedness in our effort. So here we can affirm, I am the Spirit. I am the Spirit. Moving our hand to the abdomen, this area represents our self-mastery, our teacher principle, so to say. Here we can affirm, I am my own teacher. I am my own master. But what is a master and a teacher without knowledge? So first of all, we have to create and establish a relationship with the source of knowledge itself, that guiding principle of our being, that being the Kundalini. So keeping our left hand on the left side of our waist, we can address that energy of the Kundalini and as it is the guiding principle, as it is the maternal energy that nourishes and sustains and knows where to go and when to help, we can address it as Mother. So here we say, Mother Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge, the knowledge of myself and the knowledge of my spirit. Mother Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge of myself. Moving back up, placing our hand for a moment on the abdomen, then back up to the heart. We can move then to the center, the fifth center of the throat chakra, also known as the Vishuddhi, on the left side. And we can slightly tilt our head to the right so as to increase the space in this area, just to allow it to be open for a moment. On the level of the throat chakra, the Shuddhi, we have our collectivity. In our collectivity, we also take upon responsibility. And by, during the actions and reactions we have with others, we can accumulate, if we've done mistakes and actions that have trespassed boundaries between conduct and principles of being, we can accumulate guilt, either conscious or subconscious. And this is a weight, a yoke that rests upon our shoulders. And over here, it can stifle the progress of a Kundalini on its ascent towards the 7th chakra. So here it's important to affirm, I am not guilty. I am not guilty at all. Allow the shoulder to relax completely, releasing any tension within. I am not guilty. I am not guilty at all. It's human to err, but it is wise to learn from one's mistakes. Moving to the center of the forehead, or the 6th chakra of Ajna, we can tilt our head slightly forwards into the palm of our hand, resting it as it is. Here, at the 6th center, our thoughts, our attention, and the institutions of our ego and our superego, which reflect the limited actions of our being, press down upon the ascent of our Kundalini. It's here where the incessant stream of thoughts flow uninterrupted. And it's important to find a moment of pause, a space of peace, and a gap which we can extend and allow to grow, so that we can slowly bring our attention beyond the realm of the thoughts into the realm that's beyond. And more often than not, in the carnival of our thoughts, it's also error done to us that can keep us occupied and keep our mind attached, latched onto mundane things. So at this center, we affirm, I forgive myself and I forgive everyone. I forgive myself and I forgive everyone. Without paying attention to any particular person or a specific event, you can let that person, that part of yourself that judges and is judged, to let go for just a moment. To not be both judge, jury, and executioner, but just the witness of your being. To watch, to observe, and to be. So once again, I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. Raising our hand to the top of the head, we can massage the scalp quite rigorously if need be, placing pressure and moving it around, just to root the attention at the top of the head. And as we ask for that knowledge of the self, it is here that it is actualized. It is here that it manifests and blossoms into being. So here we can once again ask with full sincerity, Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Please deepen my meditation. Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Please deepen my meditation. You can raise your right hand just a few inches above the top of the head, allowing your attention to extend just a teeny bit more. And then you can bring the right hand back down to your lap, rest it there for a moment, and just for a few minutes, we can try and settle our attention at the top. And if the attentions don't stop, you can focus once again on the inhale and the exhale of the breath. Or if that doesn't work, on the affirmation of forgiveness. That helps us disentangle ourselves from the numerous entanglements we've tied and bound ourselves by. While still keeping our eyes closed, we can raise both hands to the level of our chest. What the awakening of the Kundalini enables us, and how she guides us, how she gives us the tools and the methods in order to work through our own obstacles, is through subtle sensations felt both within our body and also on our hands, the digits, the fingers, and the palm. So here, depending upon the sensitivity we have, the certain vibratory awareness we might be predisposed to, some have it more, some have it less. But here we can test initially if we can discern the subtle cues provided by the Kundalini on the status, on the state of specific subtle centers within the body. So here we can ask just one more question. Mother Kundalini, please show me my subtle system. Please guide me to know myself. Now pay attention to both hands as you keep them on the level of your chest. There might be a feeling of hot and heaviness, or cool and lightness, where it can be a bit of mumbling, a numb sensation on fingers, or also a prickling sensation on specific digits. Each finger corresponds to a subtle center within the body, and each palm corresponds to a channel within the body. So this is the roadmap that you can always access now that you've requested and enabled the Kundalini to work within your subtle system. And by being and becoming a better reader of this map, and to orientate yourself, this will guide you in your own purpose, in your own meditation, and in your own method in achieving that sense of inner peace, stillness, and yoga of connection. So we can rest both of our palms back down on our lap and use our right hand and raise it across the center of the body, following the path of a central channel or the Sushumna Nadi, and direct that Kundalini energy towards the top of the head. So it works two ways. This energy can both be directed after it has been accessed, but a more prominent or a more effective use of it to begin with is to allow the Kundalini to weave its way through your system, as it connects each chakra like a pearl on a string, so that the end product is a beauteous whole. And for just a few more minutes, we can keep that attention inside, and we can allow that space of peace to extend and just be for a moment. So to finish up, we can slowly open our eyes. And usually when we finish our meditation, we do a bandhan and we raise our kundalini once again. So by keeping our left hand open like so, and weaving our right hand around it, we wrap up our attention to the top of the head. And we do this thrice, corresponding to the 3 channels within our body. Tie it twice, and once more. 3rd time, and 3 knots. Symbolically gesturing, keeping that attention above the head. And secondly, we do 7 semicircular movements across the body like so, each movement representing a bandhan or a protection corresponding to each subtle system within the body, so that our attention may remain within for the duration of the evening. So that's an initial meditation with a slight extension into working with Kundalini. Now, if you have any questions at this point, you're more than welcome to unmute your mic and ask away if it's relating to either the Kundalini or to meditations you've had before during the week. We can both reflect upon any sensations you might have felt and then work on that together to see what your subtle system is trying to message to you in a particular instance. So you can take a moment. If you have any questions, we'll be here still for about 10 to 15 minutes. If you don't have any questions for the evening, you're more than welcome to sign out. If not, we're more than happy to continue chatting for the duration of the evening. I'm just going to unpin the video. So definitely feel free. There's no silly question. And the topic of the Kundalini is quite wide, broad, deep, and it takes a bit of more instances to come back to it again and again, where it becomes more embellished, more fleshed out, and more substantial. But most importantly, I hope you might have had that experience in meditation this time around again. And if you have any questions, or if you haven't felt anything today during the meditation, feel free to ask, and I can give you some tips on how to also improve that vibratory experience during meditation. Because most importantly, it's all theory unless and until it's actualized within.
Hi there.
Hi, Vincent.
Hi. Tonight, both the palms of my hands were really, really hot. I had a lot of energy there. What was that?
Okay, so if as the Kundalini represents in one way the element of the fire, and it represents the purifying principle, as she rises and as she sees any impurity that has to be in a way burnt off, initially there can be a lot of heat felt within the hands. Now, it's actually a good indicator, because this means that the Kundalini is both awake and working, and that it is catering to clearing things out. So usually, more often than not, there is a sensation of heat, and with staying in meditation, that heat subsides into a feeling of coolness and lightness. So it takes a few times, but then it should hopefully rest into a more cool and light feeling. And after that, specific digits or fingers might still be hot, and that shows certain centers that still require a bit of attention that can then be worked upon in tandem with affirmations and putting your hand on a specific spot of the subtle system.
I have been following Sri Mataji's liver diet to cool the liver down, which I'm finding really, really helpful. I went online and found some diet guidance for what she suggests to eat for about 10 days to cool the liver down. So that's really, really helping.
Okay, great. Yeah, so if you definitely feel that you're more on the right side, then liver diet is essentially kind of bringing down then that heat and working more back towards the left side and into equilibrium with the whole.
Yeah.
And now also, since it is, I guess, full moon either today or tomorrow, there is a strong cooling effect of that as well. So just kind of bathing oneself in that lunar light might be helpful in also cooling yourself down.
Okay, that's great. And thanks.
That
And thanks for
yeah.
Okay, and thanks for great meditation. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Most welcome. So feel free definitely to ask away if there's something puzzling on your mind, or if something wasn't quite clear for the evening. And of course, if you prefer to read, there's a lot more on wemeditate.com. And as was mentioned, there's lots of lectures by Shimataji that clarifies this a lot more than I can. So you can feel free to also search this material online. Matches abundant and available.
Hi, I have a question.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm actually suffering from chronic migraine, and I've tried all kind of medication. Nothing seems to be helping me. Is there anything in meditation particularly I can do to ease off that pain?
Yeah. So for sure, migraines are usually seen as being a influence of imbalance in the sixth subtle energy center, that being then the Agnya Chakra, the center of the thoughts. So a migraine can be due to two reasons, either a ego or a superego problem. So these two institutions that are at the terminus points of both the left and the right channel act as sort of balloons that grow here on both sides of the head. So the ego is here in the front. So if your migraine is mostly in the front area, placed like so.
It's more towards
Back.
the left side of my head.
So it's towards the left side here?
Yes.
Okay. So then in that case, the other option would have been superego, which should have been back and then slightly to the right. But if it's front or then slightly to the left, then that would indicate ego. So that means a significant amount of future long-term planning or exerting too much stress on oneself. That can, in the long term, then be detrimental towards the proper functioning of the Agnya Chakra, or its sixth subtle energy center. Now, the tips on improving that, there are ways and methods. And there's a lot you can find also online on our website on the Agnya Chakra. We just to reiterate some simple ones here. The affirmation we use today for the center, so keeping your eyes closed and hand on the forehead, and repeating the affirmation of forgiveness can be surprisingly powerful.
Okay.
The second thing you can do is also using a candle light and having a small candle just in front of you, not a cocktail candle, which is too small, but a smaller candle, yay large, and looking through the light, not keeping it too close to your face, keeping it slightly further away. That can also help clear any kind of accumulation that might have stayed within the Agnya Chakra, allowing it to kind of move out of the body.
Okay.
So a small candle as well. In addition to that, there are also more physical things you can do. For example, just using either almond oil or coconut oil, but preferably almond, which relaxes the nerves of the head. So just a massage with actual oil in the specific part of the head for a few evenings in a row can also prove to really help the nerves let go of anything they're holding on to. Then, of course, you can vibrationally work on the center. But for that, I would definitely suggest then, if there is a Sahaja Yoga center near to you, they can help you show techniques in meditation, helping to clear those obstacles in the sixth energy center. So a person who's done a bit more Sahaja Yoga can help you balance out the system. But definitely migraines have been fixed with the methods of Sahaja Yoga. And hopefully you might find a antidote in our methods too.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your help.
Most welcome. Take care.
Thanks.
If there are any other questions, feel free to fire away. We still have a bit of a day left. And also, Rhea, it just occurred to me, it can also do well to reflect on habits that might increase that effort or activity in your day-to-day behavior that could then also cause the imbalance. So also a bit of introspection to see what could be causing that long-term accumulation of a migraine could also be one way to solve it. And most importantly, it is also a consistent, constant way and practice of meditation, that can also help a lot. So meditating both in the mornings for even 10 minutes, in the evening 10 minutes. These practices can also really help clear the system. As long as you have that desire to grow, to know, to introspect, and not stay in your limited self, then that will for sure help you in whatever physical ailments one might be having. It all comes part and parcel of a process of knowing thyself better. So we can leave it at that note today. And if you have any further questions or interests, you can send us a message on our website or on our email. You can find a lot more as well. We'll also be meditating once again on Thursday and also next Tuesday. We also have a beginner's course starting, but that will be a bit later, and we will notify you about that when the time is ripe. So thank you for joining us once again this evening, and hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.